I mean, full tilt. I mean, revs it up, peeling out outside of the shop. J turn, gets it out of the shop and just speeds down the street. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm like, holy, like, oh my God, what is he doing? And just jams on the brakes. Full four-wheel lock up, and he revs it up. Does a U-turn. Burn out, comes at it. Whoop, 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 comes straight at us again. Hits the brakes again. Four-wheel lock up. Rolls down the window. Brakes work good. Good job. And just speeds off into the sunset. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this guy's insane, right? And that was always, when he got called up to his office too. His office was like this thing out of the movies, right? And had pictures of him with all these skateboarders or famous people. And he had this huge desk with all these model cars, and he had plants in there, and model cars everywhere. Just cool office, right? If that office could tell stories, it would write 3-4 novels, and all the stories that this guy had. I think he even had a wet bar. I'm sure there was, a few drugs in the drawers, and they would drink a little bit during the day. Those guys are hardcore. And if you got called up to the office, it was either you're getting fired, you're going to get your ass reamed, or it's going to be like a one-liner. And I remember my first time to the office. Fossil calls me in. He's like, "Come up to the office." I'm like, "Oh, what do I do now?" I go to the office. I sit there, and he's on the phone with someone. And just to put matters into terms, every single word was a swear word, and he's just giving this guy, whoever he was talking to, he was mad, and he was giving this guy a new one. And then I'm just like, oh man, now I'm next. He's only getting warmed up with this guy, then he's gonna take it on me. He slams the phone down. What an idiot. You can add your explicits, and then he looks at me and goes, "Diego and Ryan, you've been telling me you've been working hard and doing a good job. Keep it up." And then I kind of sat there for a second, and I guess I didn't know, what to do. And I'm just going to say, "You can leave now." Okay. just got out and left. And that's how he was. He was just so blunt, to the point, in your face. And to be honest, he was involved in the karting stuff, but I don't think as much as he was, in the Mamo and Jason Point and the golden years. And I kind of look back and wish I was there for those years when the LaPointes, the Mamos, the Martins. I'm sure I'm missing many others, Landon Yee and Oliver Rowan, and when there were so many more people that were involved in TrackMagic, I guess, their golden era, I would say. I was the only driver. It was just Ryan and myself, and then became Diego and myself. There wasn't this huge contingent, so to speak, when I went to in race for TrackMagic. It wasn't really a team. It was just one driver doing it. So and literally, I was everything. I built my own go-karts. I loaded the trailer. I made sure there was inventory in the trailer. It was just Ryan or Diego that literally went with me as my mechanic. But I remember vividly, TrackMagic had that big truck, and we had to take the big truck to a few races, even though, I was the only driver underneath it. And I remember Eric Johnson driving me to Ermico to get the truck out of the skateboard foundry. And he's, the only trailer I'd driven was my dad's 20-footer. And, this thing, I think it was a 40-footer or something. I can't remember. This is a pretty big tractor trailer. And it's stuck in the back of this skateboard foundry, and you got to snake it around all these big machines and everything. And he's like, "Okay, I'll help you guide you out." And I'm looking at him like, "You're not driving? I thought, I was bringing you here and you were going to drive it out." He's like, well, you got more trailer experience than me, just make wide turns. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm gonna, what if I hit something? You're gonna ruin the trailer, then you're gonna ruin a machine. When then the machine goes down, then like production goes down. I mean, like, man, this is heavy stuff. Right? Like, this is not cool. And luckily, I snaked it out of the, out of Ermico without hitting anything. And then I'm gonna I gotta take this thing through San Francisco to get it to Sonoma, right? I mean, like, if there's, and like, I remember.
Was that 19th Avenue?
Oh man, yeah. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this. I am not in any way, shape, or form ready to do this. But I mean, just like anything else, right? I mean, like when you're thrown in the fire or thrown into a deep end, you just learn how to swim, right?
Yep, that's right.
So, and I mean, it's just so many memories, like, the debauchery that was going on, Diego and myself, Mario, Oliver, Ryan, going to Hooters, not in any way, shape, or form should be driving, but getting back to the factory and, just the camaraderie. I mean, it was such a small group, and I mean, I guess we were all kind of doing something that, it was hard. It was extremely hard. Like I said, we were a very small operation going up against big operations, in North America, and not having any help but ourselves. I mean, there wasn't like, a factory that, or a dealer, or, some European that you could just call up and like, hey, we're having problems with this go-kart. What should we do? I mean, it was like, I'm having problems with my go-kart, and I guess I got to go to the track and go figure it out. In the sense, like, maybe we could cut a bar and move it this way or that way. Like, I was developing everything from the tag to the shifter carts. So, I mean, it was a lot of just trial and error. And luckily, Faso gave me the opportunity of, if I needed tires, if I needed gas, if I burnt down, melted an engine. I mean, it was like, the budget was there to fund it, and for me to keep going out to the track and figuring stuff out. And as much as, I learned in Europe through all my experiences there, I mean, where I really cut my teeth in chassis development and learning how chassis work was literally myself going out with either Ryan or Diego and literally, starting from phase one. Okay, what happens when we make a soft cart? What happens when we make a stiff cart? What happens when we do this? What happens when we do that? And just doing trial by error, because there was no real, I mean, I was 18 years old. It wasn't like I was an engineer or had this, heaps and mounds of karting experience behind my belt. Diego didn't have very many years of experience under his belt karting. I mean, it was literally like trial by error. Like, okay, we just got to start from phase one, learn the basics again, learn what we already know, check the boxes, and then just go through it like that. Like, okay, our problem is this. Normally we can do this and that, and just cutting up carts and redesigning carts and going back to the track and just going day after day and figuring out, not, basically having any rhyme or reason at first. And then over time, we started learning what worked, what didn't work, and we started, going forward with the project.
That's a great point, because there was, I never really did R&D when I went to the track. I always ran something else that someone else designed, and I would try different things that I thought, oh, maybe this is good or this is bad. And I vividly remember one day at the track at Dixon, Mamo had shown up, and he had his, I think it was a Toyota. Is either a Toyota or like a Chevy S10. It was a small truck, and he shows up, and he never wanted a hand. It's like, hey, I'll help you unload. Nope, I got it. And he would use a garbage can at the track, and that was his cart stand, because that didn't take up space in his truck. And I think he was there for 15, maybe 30 minutes, and he started packing up. It's like, dude, what's up? I'm going back to the factory. I go, okay, everything okay? yeah, we tried something that didn't work. And I remember sitting there. It's like, wait a second. I lived 20 minutes from the track. Dixon had to be an hour to an hour and a half on a good day from the TrackMagic factory. He did a few laps, didn't work, packed it up and left. It's like, wow. And I mean, how many of those days did you have where you went to the track? I mean, TrackMagic was in your hands on the chassis side and something worked or it didn't. How many times did you have that happen to you?
Well, I remember vividly one time we wanted to try some spindles, and we put the spindles on the car. I did the baseline run with the existing spindles, and we put these other spindles on baseline to do a baseline run. So I had only done maybe 10 laps, and I went into turn 2 at Dixon in the bull corner, got on the brakes, and the right front corner just flew off the car. Literally,
the whole C hanger?
The spindle broke. And the spindle shaft broke, and then naturally the whole tire comes off, and the brake rotor and the caliper, and it ripped the brake line right off and everything. And I'm flying over the Dixon bank, like almost endoed, and I'm like, whoa, like this is the first time that you realize that, actually being the first test driver is not safe sometimes.
Yeah,
but yeah, that
wow.
was obviously end of day. That was end of day, right? I mean, we didn't have any. It tore up the car pretty badly and everything. So, that was end of day there. So, it was some issues like that. Something would break, or we'd maybe re-weld the chassis or reposition a bar, and maybe the stress level of the material or something would break. I mean, there was many days that you think like, oh yeah, we're going to get all this testing done and have a great day, and do 10 laps and have something break or something that's not repairable, and we go. And I mean, granted, we, now I think learning from my mistakes or what we had doing at TrackMagic, like now I try to go to the track at least with my van with everything possible, because like I don't want to go all the way out there and do 10 laps and have something that I don't have in the van and be like, well, that sucks. I got to go home now. So there were days like that, and the most discouraging days were like, we had all these great ideas, and hopefully it would make it better. We're having a problem with this, and you try all those ideas, and they were no better or they were worse, and you don't really see any gains. And it was like, man, like you do all this work and prep, and you work 7 days to go to the track once to have yourself just go, like, nope, that's not it, and it's like, well, maybe something else. So you just keep on grinding and trying to make it work.
Yeah, now, so maybe it was like 6 months ago already. I think it was in the TrackMagic owners group or carts list. Someone posted a picture of a TrackMagic, and I'm going to say it had a diamond plate floor pan. And you actually chimed in on that post. Does that ring a memory to you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it meant a lot to me because, one, there's not very many of those chassis out there, but I guess
so what's the story? What's the whole story on that?
Yeah, that's kind of a neat story, a neat but sad story. But the last year that I was at TrackMagic, I guess would have been 2006, and literally months before the passing of Foster McCullough, he brought me in the office, and here I am, like, oh man, it's one of those office visits. Am I going to get? Is it going to be good?
Yeah.
And
hey, your phone's breaking up. Hold on for a moment.
Oh, yeah, I think I actually went on speaker there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he brings me into the office and he goes, Gary, we need to change something. We need to do something different. I'm like, oh man, this is not good. Like change is normally not good. He's like, I want you to have your own cart. I want you to have a Gary-Carlton line of TrackMagic cart. So you need to come up with a new design, because obviously the FTR was, a design through Ryan Fowl, Diego, and myself. He's like, you need to come up with something completely on your own, and you need to come up with